Welcome to the Roosevelt Show, where we provide updates on foreign affairs and U.S. politics, handpicked topics, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Welcome to episode 2. This week, we have had a lot of activity in foreign affairs. The Iran Revolutionary Guard Corp revealed that the Biden administration offered to provide concessions in exchange for Iran to abandon their objective to avenge the assassination of General Soleimani. I think it's important that we understand who General Soleimani was. Of course, he was a senior leader in Iran's Revolutionary Guard, and the Revolutionary Guard has multiple divisions, and he oversaw the Quds Force. And this essentially is the intelligence force in the military that operates similar to MI5, British intelligence, or the Central Intelligence Agency. He had a lot of notoriety. He was an investment from the Iran's national security and military perspective. He understood how they operate, how the adversaries move, and he was trained to be a leader to combat adversaries in a variety of different ways from the military function. He was seen as an icon to many. In fact, he was also seen as a hero. And they believed that General Soleimani was a shield, a protector of Iran's interest overall. And his assassination, which was carried out under the Trump administration, they carried out a drone strike and took out General Soleimani. And this changed the landscape between the U.S. and Iran, particularly because there's already been a lot of tension, already a lot of friction. We were already talking about the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action and how they would return to the terms and conditions that were set. However, this has complicated things. They have committed their objectives to making sure there's some form of retribution. And these forms of retribution can come in a variety of different ways, whether they attack U.S. troops, whether they sponsor terrorism, whether they work through proxies, whether they share intelligence with terrorist groups, effectively long-term to defeat the United States or impact the United States national security, military, and economic objectives. So they are seeking retribution. And now the question will be, now that we have so many issues with the global economy, oil prices rising, high consumer costs, the Biden administration is trying to change its strategy by now working with adversaries who have been deemed national security threats to the United States. But now Biden needs oil, and he needs oil quickly due to the fact that Russia has been removed from the NATO supply chain, which has had a tremendous impact on the global economy. So he's now trying to court nations like Iran. He's now trying to court nations like Venezuela. This is a change in tide of how the United States has normally carried out their diplomacy when it comes to adversaries of the United States. So this is breaking. We'll continue to follow this story and keep you all updated. Really quickly on this week's TV appearances, appeared on Ashrak Bloomberg and covered this story in the Middle East and gave a deep perspective. You can find that interview in Arabic on YouTube. Let's continue on what's happening. Top picks in the United States news. Russia-Ukraine is still a very hot topic. The Biden administration has recently brought on a 3-star general to help coordinate military assistance in the Ukraine. So Biden is announcing this commitment of funds. $800 million has been committed, and this essentially will be used to purchase howitzers, tactical drones, ammunition, and more. There's a lot of problems with getting the logistics to locations, and now they're trying to ensure the supply chain is strong and resilient. There's also operational issues happening in terms of executing these contracts. There are agents who are misrepresenting their position. So if you're involved in this, do your due diligence. Make sure if you are a U.S. arms dealer that you are registered and you are in compliance with the processes set by the United States and or your government. So that's something I think is important. And just to give you a quick view of what we're looking at from the weapon perspective, we've got the howitzers, we've got the drones, we've got armored vehicles, tanks, ammunition, and arms. These are the military toys that are used to win the war and to keep nations safe. And this is what will be used to keep Ukraine safe, pushing back the Russian invasion, and essentially making sure they set up a military campaign that will win and long-term continue to keep their folks safe. So this is what you see from the supplies perspective, and this is what the taxpayer dollars are paying for today. Now, let's change topics on a softer tone as we begin to close out here. We've all seen CNN Plus shutting down after a month of operation. That has been mainstream news today. And then secondly, I think which is really an interesting story is Elon Musk has lined up $46.5 billion to take over Twitter. He's now building coalitions to do that. And there's been, since the Trump administration, a lot of conversation on free speech and how private organizations are targeting, whether they be conservatives or political activists, in limiting their ability to take part in this constitutional right. But again, the big fight is because this is a private company. The rules and regulations, they govern themselves essentially, and they do not have to abide by the rules of the people essentially. And this will be up for continuous conversation for years to come. So that covers this week. Again, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Instagram. Again, have a great weekend and welcome to the Adam Roosevelt Show.